Question 9 is just second order difference equations. So there's a mine. In the first month, they remove 200 kilograms. Second month, they remove 245 kilograms. They come up with this second order difference equation to do it. And they want us to write down the values of M2 and M3. So for that, we can replace these n's with zeros. And we'll get that M2 will be M1 plus 3/4 of M0, which is equal to M1 is 245 plus 3/4 of 200. Put that into your calculator, and you get 395. For M3, you do the same thing. That'll be equal to M2 plus 3/4 of M1, which is equal to M2 is 395 plus 3/4 of M1, which is 245. Put that into your calculator, and you should get 578.75. It also might be worth saying that they're in kgs. That's kg and that's kg, just in case, because that's what this represents. It's kilograms removed. Then we're told to solve the difference equation. So there's no particular part, so we just have to worry about the complementary part. We have mn plus 2 minus mn plus 1 minus 3/4 of mn equals 0. I'm going to multiply by 4 just to make it a bit easier. So you have 4 mn plus 2 minus 4 mn plus 1 equals, sorry, not equals, minus 3 mn equals 0. And then remember, for our characteristic equation, we take the lowest power as the lowest m as a constant, the next one up as a linear, and the next one up as a squared. So what we'll get is for our roots, we'll have 4, or I guess for root squared minus 4 or minus 3 equals 0. And then you just need to solve this quadratic. You can use the quadratic formula if you're not sure. But there's a method for solving quadratics like this, where you multiply the last number by the first number like that. And then just solve this like normal. So factors of 12, we can have minus 6 plus 2 will work. So r minus 6 times r plus 2 equals 0. And since we forgot about that 4 at the start, we try to divide. If it divides, we simplify. So, for example, we try to divide this by 4 and try to divide this by 4. So this will become 6 over 4 is the same as 3 over 2. So we'll change it to 3 over 2. And then 2/4 becomes 1 over 2. And then if there's still a fraction, we just bring that up to the front. So what we get is 2or minus 3 times 2or plus 1 equals 0. If you multiply that out, you'll see it's the exact same as this. Then we just set each bracket equal to 0. 2or equals 3 would mean that or equals 3 over 2, or 1.5, I'll write just for ease. And then if 2 or is equal to minus 1, that means that or is equal to minus 0.5. So there are roots, therefore our solution will be alpha, some number, times the first root to the n, plus another number, beta, times the second root to the power of n. Make sure that minus is also to the power, because that will alternate between even and odd powers. Now we know that m0 equals 200. So m0 equals 200, which will just be equal to alpha plus beta, because these things to the power of 0 is just 1. Then m1 is equal to 245. That'll be equal to 1.5 alpha minus 0.5 beta. And now we can solve these equations. So I'm going to multiply the second one by 2. So that'll give us 490 equals 3 alpha minus beta. And then write the other one under it. We have 200 equals alpha plus beta. Add those together, we get 690 equals 4 alpha. Because the betas will cancel then. That means that alpha is a quarter of 690, which is equal to 172.5. And that means beta is equal to 200 minus alpha, which is 172.5. That's coming from this equation, which will give you minus 200, 27.5. That means that our difference equation, mn, is given by alpha, which is 172.5, times 1.5 to the power of n, plus 27.5 times minus 0.5 to the power of n. You can check that if you want. You can plug in n equals 3 and 4, or n equals 2 and 3, sorry, see if you get the same thing as here, and you should. That's how you can check. Then we're told to calculate the total mass of opal that's predicted to be removed in the first 6 months. This is such a stupid question because, okay, we know M0, 1, 2, and 3. We just have to calculate M4 equals whatever, and then M5 equals whatever. We just have to sub in 4 here, and then 5, and then add them all together, which is so stupid because it's just subbing in numbers. It's very easy, but it's just very time consuming to keep writing this out and write this out, get a number on it. So for this one we get 875, and then for this one we will get, if we just replace the powers with 5, we get 1309.0625. Then we just have to add them all together. So we do M0 plus M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus M4 plus M5. That's the first 6 months. I know it only goes up to 5, but that's because we have 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Add them all together. So that's 240. So you just literally add all the numbers. And when you add all those together, you get 3602.8125 kilograms as your answer for the amount removed in the first 6 months. So now they take the same difference equation. They seem to like doing this. They take the same difference equation but make it inhomogeneous by adding this part. We need to solve the new one. So the only difference now is that now we have a particular solution. So if we take this 2 to the n part, 2 to the power of n plus 2 is the same as 2 to the power of n times 2 squared, which is the same as 4 times 2 to the power of n. So this is an exponential, and our particular solution for an exponential is some constant, which I'll call a, multiplied by the same base to the power of n. So that's our particular solution. We need to figure out for n plus 1 and n plus 2. So for n plus 1, our particular solution will be a times 2 to the power of n plus 1, which is the same as 2a times 2 to the n times 2, which is equal to 2a times 2 to the power of n. And then for Pn plus 2, our particular solution is a times 2 to the power of n plus 2, which for the same reason we can separate the powers. We'll get a times 2 to the power of n times 2 squared, or in other words, that's 4a times 2 to the power of n. Now, we can sub back into our equation to figure out what our a is. So we have Pn plus 2, that's 4a times 2 to the n equals 2a times 2 to the n plus 3 over 4a times 2 to the n minus 2 to the n times 2 squared. The reason I wrote it like that instead of 2 to the n plus 2 is because we can cancel 2 to the n across. So we'll get that 4a equals 2a plus 3/4 of a minus 4, just because the 2 to the n is cancelled. Let's bring all the a's to the side. We have 4 minus 2 minus 3/4 or 0.75. That'll give us 1.25a equals minus 4, or in other words, 4 over 1.25. A equals to minus 3.2 is our a. That means that our particular solution, as we had up here, Pn particular, is a times 2 to the power of n. That's 3.2 times 2 to the power of n. Now we just need to add that to our complementary solution, but which we already figured out because it's the exact same as up here. So our complementary solution was alpha. Our roots were 1.5 and minus 0.5. So our complementary solution, is alpha, some number alpha, because it's going to change now that we have this 2 to the n, so it's not going to be the same as the previous part, times 1.5 to the n, plus beta times minus 0.5 to the power of n. Our final solution will be the sum of the complementary and the particular. So our final solution will be alpha times 1.5 to the n, plus beta times minus a half to the n, plus not plus, no it is plus, no it isn't, because our particular solution, is minus 3.2 times 2 to the n because of this minus here. So it's going to be minus 3.2 times 2 to the power of n. And now we know that P0 is 199, P1 is 243, P0 is 199, which is equal to, it'll be alpha plus beta minus 3.2, because all those are just power of 0 is just 1. Let's bring the 3.2 to the other side, and we'll get 202.2, that's alpha plus beta, And then we know that P1 will be equal to 243, which is equal to 1.5 alpha, minus 0.5 beta, and then to the power of 1, that'll be minus 6.4. Let's bring the 6.4 to the other side, because it's 2 to the power of 1, and 3 times 0.2 times 2 is 6.4. Yep. 6.4 plus 243, that'll give us 249.4 is 1.5 alpha minus 0.5 beta. Let's do the same thing as last time. Multiply this equation by 2. So we have 249.4 times 2 is going to be 498.8. That'll be equal to now 3 alpha minus beta. Let's add that to this equation. Equals alpha plus beta. You'll see they cancel. Add 202.2. And we get 701 equals 4 alpha, which means that alpha is equal to 701 over 4, which if you put into your calculator, it's 175.25. Then alpha plus beta is that. That means that beta is given by 202.2 minus alpha, which is 175.25. So we have 202.2 minus 175.25. That'll give us 26.95 for beta. So now we can finally have our equation. We have Pn, our thing is alpha, which is 175.25 times 1.5 to the n, plus beta, which is 26.95 times minus 0.5 to the n, minus 3.2 times 2 to the power of n. And that's the end of that difference equation. That's it solved. Now they give another very similar, stupid to last time. We just have to calculate it for the first 6 months and then add them all together, which is quite daunting because they didn't make us calculate them at the start of this new one. So we're going to have to just do it now. So yeah, we know P0 and P1. You just need to sub in for P2, P3, P4, and P5. So for example, for P2, it'll be this. Replace all those n's with a 2. Smack it into your calculator, and that'll be it. I'm not going to record myself doing it because it's just very boring, but I will cut to when I'm done and show you the answer. When you shove all those into your calculator and you do all this out and you add the first 6, you should get 3, 4, 5, 8 kilograms for how much they mined. And that's it.